Sunday night football this time. The Browns and the Ravens, and the Browns are now 6-6 on the season. Not only they have two teams in their division ahead of them, Baltimore and Cincinnati, several other teams, so it's just looking tougher and tougher to even make a wild card. They could have made some ground on Baltimore winning this game. They get the bye week, they get Baltimore again. Somehow, if they could have taken both of those games, they'd have been right back in business. But unfortunately, now they're falling out of business. It's a going out of business sale, it seems. And it started early. Just the first half was awful. Baltimore had their share of mistakes. 3 interceptions by Jackson, but led to really nothing by Cleveland. The very first drive of the game, there was a drop by Peoples-Jones. Would have led to it was on a first down, so at the time it doesn't seem like much. But it was a nice pass by Baker, would have led to a first and goal, first down, and at around the 10 or 11 yard line, something like that. But instead of that being the situation, it was second down. That ends up leading to a field goal attempt. The field goal was no good. So you feel like there was points lost there, and then there was just several plays like that added up. Conklin went right back down in the first half. Everybody's so excited to have him back, have the line back in order, and then boom, didn't even last a quarter. Right back out. Then they had this horrible series where there was 12 men on the field, where Baltimore was, they had a fourth down. I think maybe they were going to go for it or they were going to punt it, and Cleveland's got too many men on the field. They start to call a flag, but Stefanski had called a timeout. And even if you were watching the game, it was like, well, it looks like there's too many guys out there. So they call a timeout. Baltimore's upset that they didn't get the penalty. Cleveland still has 12 men on the field when they resume play. So automatic first down. That leads to Baltimore's first field goal, giving them a 3-0 lead, putting some points on the board. Turned out maybe those points mattered. Maybe they didn't. So, so there's points that Baltimore shouldn't have had. There's points that Cleveland probably should have had. So at the end of the first quarter, even though it was 3-0, it was just not a great start. Not looking good. Then, there was a false start in the... And I think that was maybe on Baltimore. Maybe that was Baltimore's deal. Maybe that was another Baltimore mistake. Yeah, they had a situation where maybe they were fourth and goal and were going to go for it, and they had a false start, I believe, and that led to them kicking a field goal instead. So they had their share of mistakes. Cleveland just couldn't really do much about it. Like I said, the 3 interceptions by Jackson in the first half. He ended up with 4 overall. Threw one right at the end of the first half that looked like it was really going to kill him, setting Cleveland up in good position. Baker fumbled the ball. Jarvis Landry, they had a play where running some kind of Landry wildcat, and he takes the snap, holds the ball way too long, playing the quarterback position, gets hit from behind, fumbles. Later on, Baker fumbled one, just dropping back to pass. It came out of his hand. He was being pressured a lot tonight. He was being pressured. Some questionable. Felton had a horrible drop in the third quarter. The Ravens came out and took a quick 13-3 lead, and then on the Browns' next drive, they had a little something going, and then Felton had a horrible drop that sets them back on third down. The third down drops are the absolute worst, but they did stop Baltimore. I think a punt or possibly Jackson's 4th interception. I don't remember which it was right there. But the long touchdown pass to Njoku, that was iffy. Looked like probably he had his fingers under the ball. Either way, it was close. They get the touchdown there. It's 13-10, and they just couldn't do anything the rest of the game. That was right at the end of the third quarter. They made it 13-10. Baltimore added a field goal late in the fourth quarter, making it 16-10. Cleveland had the ball a couple of times. They couldn't do much with it. They punted the ball away with about 6.5 minutes to go. Slightly worried they were never going to see the ball again. Baltimore did eat up most of the clock. Cleveland used their remaining timeouts. They get the field goal. Cleveland couldn't do nothing with that final drive, though. They did get the ball back. 1:15 left. I think they completed 1 pass in their 4 attempts. So basically they went 3 and out. They went 4 and out, but, So final score 16-10, 6-6 on the season now, and that's probably it. They're going to need a lot of teams to collapse. They're going to need either maybe Buffalo to collapse, which maybe, but then not Buffalo and New England. They're not both going to collapse. One of those is maybe. But it's probably one of them's going to win the division. The other's going to get a wild card. Maybe not get a wild card out of the West. But it's looking like Cincinnati or Baltimore is going to eat up another wild card. I don't know what's going on in the South. It's possible, but I don't know. Maybe the Chargers. The Chargers could collapse. I don't know. The Dolphins aren't much of a threat. The Colts in Tennessee. One of them. I mean, so there's still some brief hope. But at this point, Cleveland's going to have to pretty much win out. It seems like it's going to take probably 11 wins to get that wild card. I don't even think 11-6. I don't even think that's going to win the division if they win out. So I don't know. They would have wins over Cincinnati and Baltimore, obviously, if that were the case. Lamar Jackson, and the smaller linebackers, I feel like, this was probably the game. Those guys at some point, they've kind of hurt them a little bit. I feel like having Koromoa and Walker and some of these other guys out there that just seem undersized at their position. But tonight was the night against Jackson, all right? What they do have is the quickness and the speed. You figure that's the whole reason they're on this defense is for this game to stop Lamar Jackson, and it just didn't really happen. There was a time or two they made some plays. Myles Garrett obviously was making plays all night. The 4 interceptions, I think, were split up among Harrison had one, Delpit had one, Ward and Johnson. All 4 had one. So, big catch by Andrews for Baltimore. I don't know. Lamar's still doing it. It's a shame. Well, I guess Buckeye season ended yesterday, and Cleveland season kind of ended today. There's still some hope, but I just don't see I don't see several teams collapsing. They're gonna need two to three teams to collapse now, and they're gonna need to continue to win, basically win all their games. So it's not looking good. Even if they get hot and end up like 10-7 now with the extra game this season. That would be a strong finish, and I still don't think it'd be enough. The Chargers, the Colts, the Titans, the Bills. I don't know. Who knows, man? We'll see. Quiet night for Chubb. They didn't have much. They didn't have the ball much, man. That's why that drop early in the game by Peoples-Jones, man, that was big. Not to pick on him. Fucking Michigan scrub. Oh, all right, I gotta go. Boom.